Some old golf clubs showed up at the house, and the boys began to practice for the Masters. They'd hit those balls all over the weedy backyard. Sometimes a ball would fly further and disappear over the hill. Thus it was, Eddie found himself slashing through the weeds as he ranged over the hillside looking for his golf ball. On one circuit, as he was coming up the hill, he came upon an old tree stump. Perched on that stump was an enormous copperhead snake, coiled and ready for business. Eddie jumped back, but he didn't panic. He looked around for a weapon. All of a sudden, he realized he had a shining 9-iron in his hand. What a coincidence! The copperhead was teed up perfectly. So Eddie took his stance. He wiggled once or twice like the pros and hollered, "4!" The 9-iron arced gracefully through the air, and the head of the snake sailed 50 yards through the air before landing right beside the imaginary 18th hole. One afternoon, a friend of Eddie's father climbed the hill on a big Honda 650 motorcycle. While the men were inside talking, Eddie and the boys lovingly looked over every inch of the shiny red bike. What a machine! Finally, Eddie got up the nerve to go inside and ask permission to ride it. "No problem," said his dad's friend, and tossed him the key. Eddie trembled with excitement. Outside, however, it was a different matter. Eddie had never ridden a motorcycle before. He'd never operated a machine that had a clutch either. When he tried to start the bike, it stalled. He tried again. It stalled again. "Give it more gas," his brothers urged. So Eddie opened her wide up and popped the clutch. In a heart-swallowing second, dirt flew backwards and the front wheel lifted off the ground. Eddie hung on for dear life. Just as soon as he was able to get his balance, he looked up to see the sawdust pile right ahead of him. There was no time to swerve, and the accelerator was still open wide. He hit the sawdust and sailed 10 feet through the air. When he landed, he bounced once and went over sideways in the tomato patch. The heavy bike was sitting on his leg, and the manifold was red hot. Eddie, struggling to keep it off his leg, was unable to release the accelerator, and the back tire was chewing through tomatoes like there was no tomorrow. When he was finally rescued, Eddie hobbled inside and sat down. Maybe he'd wait until he got a little bigger or found a smaller motorcycle before trying to ride again. This playing outside stuff could get a fellow killed.